Hello, welcome to Mark Out with Joe, Adventures in a Meat Suit. Today, joined by the wonderful Galactic Greg.
Yes.
Hi, Greg.
Hi, Mark. Good to be here with you today.
So we've kind of met like a lot in the last few days, but never had a chat ourselves. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it was a big 2 hour session we had last night with Alpha and Jason Q. Or
Yeah, that was unbelievable. What an amazing overload of gnosis.
that could have gone on for hours. I think they spoke for another hour after we left.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's it's just amazing to connect with so many people. And just to explain to anybody watching this who's not met Greg, I mean, most of the people watching this probably have because they've seen you on Charlie Freak and your amazing Facebook page, which is like your Facebook page, right? Is just my favorite Facebook page on the internet at the moment because it's like it's just like great big bursts of light. every time I see one of your posts, I'm like, oh, come on, Greg, let's have it.
Yeah, that's truly the idea. It's just wherever the energy guides me, and if it's not, I do everything very meticulously, and it's a very tedious process because if it's not going to serve the collective in the highest good, then I'm not gonna put it up there. The whole idea and my mission is to keep the divine energies, the good energies, all the positivity flowing as much as possible to help the collective during this incredible and grand transition that we're going through at this time. The last thing that we want to do is to be putting about a bunch of nonsense and putting people in bad places. We want to take as many people as we can with us on this journey. So my mission and my main goal is to, and I asked this, long ago, God, how can I help? How can I help? How can I, contribute to all this? Where's my place in all this? And ever since that day, there's just been door after door after door opening for me. And I go where the energy leads me, where the energy guides me, where my guides, where my angels, tell me to go. It's like a download. It's like my chakra opens and it flows through and it comes out through me. um so yeah, and especially with the intel that's out there, it's also very important to discern all that and make sure that people are getting the correct information. We're not going to be right 100% of the time. We're dealing with the most complex and intricate military operation in the history of this planet, where there is no leaks, essentially. So we are left to, you know, dive deep down within ourselves and also go, deep within spiritually and connect the dots and also use our common sense, and open our eyes and our hearts to see what's going on out in the world, and connect all those dots and build all those bridges so that people can cross over and consume the proper information. So it's not always easy. We don't always get it right. But we do our very, very best with our God-given talents and our God-given gifts.
I was when you said no leaks, I was laughing because I was thinking this morning, what kind of NDA did everybody involved have to sign? I mean,
Oh my
whoa.
God.
It's
Oh
like
my God. Yeah.
we're going to show you this stuff. This is what's going on, and if you tell anybody, basically, hell and damnation. It's like,
Yeah, exactly. You're done. You're dead. I mean, there's just, yeah, that's the NDA of all NDAs. Please sign your life away here, literally. Uh,
well, I thank God every day. I mean, I think about the people that are doing the military work a lot,
mhm, yeah.
and you can't even imagine, what
Uh,
what they've seen, what they've had to do.
yeah, especially the deeper and deeper they go underground. Um, I can't even begin to imagine the horrors that these brave men and women have seen and encountered and had to fight. Um, and a lot of times with conventional weaponry. I'm sure. Not the easiest task. Um, yeah, it's just mind blowing. We were touching on that a little bit yesterday about what lies beneath the layers upon layers of Earth, and it's just it's beyond fathoming. It truly is.
You
As
know,
as I yeah.
sorry, man.
No, and as I stated yesterday, all these myths and legends and fairy tales, there's just layers upon layers of truth to all that. These
Well,
things do
they're real.
exist.
It dawned
Yeah.
on me quite a while ago that they're all real. And
Yeah.
living somewhere like I do at the moment, I've been in the west of Ireland for a few years. I've met loads of people who talk about the little people, right?
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
converse with the little people. And people here won't build their houses in certain places because of fairy thoughts. And when you get into deep conversations with them about it, it's all real. And
Yeah.
I've loads of farmers here talking about UFOs and blue stones glowing in their fields and their cows being messed about with, and they just keep it all very quiet because they don't want to stand out from they don't want to
Yeah.
be tarred with the brush. But whilst they've been quiet, so this whole culture, and it's not just Ireland, it's all over the world. There's I can't remember what they call them in Scandinavia, but they're everywhere, right?
Yeah.
And everybody's sort of kept quiet about it. And while we've kept quiet about it, we've had this whole satanic liberal culture come in and take over. Especially, here's a very interesting place to see. I know the States is the same. Ireland's a small place, so it's the transformation of society here. As someone who's not from here, my grandmother was from here, but I wasn't brought up here. But I've been coming here for 20 years, and the transformation just in a very, very short period of time has been extraordinary. But the connection to the earth, there is still a very deep connection to the earth, because I'm in an agricultural part of the world, I suppose you'd call it. And there's a lot of people here that are still very, very connected to the earth. They know about the portal. This place is surrounded by portal tombs. It's such a spiritual place underneath the nonsense. And I feel I meet people that give me a lot of hope in amongst the masks, that people just sat by observing and waiting, and people like me, and they're waiting, and they know they can feel it, they know what's coming, they're just keeping quiet about it. And there's people like me and you who are out there shouting about it because we feel called to do so. And it is, when you said it was the chakra opens up and it flows through you, I totally relate to that 100%. And when I see your posts, I feel them, and that's why we're connected. And it's just a wonderful thing, because some of us are supposed to do that. Some of us are supposed to dig a garden. Some of us are supposed to take care of an old person. We've all got our bit to play. And it does feel like the human family, even, my 16-year-old son, he says, there's something coming, Dad. I can feel it. I can feel it. He's been saying it for months, and I said, yeah. I'm explaining it to him. And a lot of his friends are feeling it as well. And it's great. It's great to hear 16-year-olds talking like that.
Yeah.
Most of them are not, most of them are not. But the fact that there are a few is just, it's really, really encouraging. And so what's getting to this point, I heard you give your story last night for the first time properly. And I think it's worth sharing that again, if you don't mind. Because what we seem to have in common is like this dark night of the soul, which I think a lot of people doing this work have had to go through to get to the point where it opens them up to go through the veil. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. The dark night of the soul is your rite of passage to the light, essentially. So you have to be put through the fires. You have to be put through the burning coals in order to, in order for the phoenix to rise from the ashes, essentially. So, yeah, and I have, I've done that. I've been to hell and back with, a lot of things, not just, big pharma and mind control and manipulation and black magic with, antipsychotic drugs and things like that. But, the alcohol was a big deal for me as well. And the alcohol was integrated with the drugs that I was taking as well, which wasn't making it, any better health wise as well. It was just yet another, intricate trap that was laid, and that was keeping me down, and keeping me making, terrible decisions, and leading me to horrendous people and horrendous relationships. And but again, all those things were necessary so that I could, fall down, become wounded, and learn. And no matter what happened to me during that time, Mark, I always had this gnosis and this feeling of inner strength, and that always to keep going and always to keep fighting, and that someday somehow I would figure this out, and someday somehow that I would get better. I would, be free, and I would release myself from this. It was just a matter of, waking up one day and just finally, just saying enough, enough, enough. I'm not going to be under the spell of black magic anymore. I'm not going to be under, the mind control. I'm not going to be, taking these drugs that I absolutely know that I don't need. I'm not going to be doing this anymore. And, when you wake up and you have that kind of, that aha moment, or that energy finally is able to, even the littlest bit is able to pierce through you, that's when the, not necessarily doors, but God will start opening windows you can kind of crawl through, and at least, make some headway. So this whole journey for me started at the age of 5. And again,
that was my next question. So
yeah, that started at 5 because, when you're a star seed and you're born very gifted, they know this. So they want to get you at a very young age.
Yeah.
And the thing about, star seeds is that, we excel in a lot of things and we don't in many others. We have our gifts, our powers, our strengths, and we have our weaknesses. And it usually starts with the whole idea that you're not like other children. Okay. And that's still a big deal for parents today. It's all about keeping up with the Joneses. It's all about your kids excelling in this, and that. And if they're not, oh my God, there's a problem. There's an issue. Why is my kid not doing this, but he's doing well in this? Why are they not like other children? Why are they not playing with other children? Why are they not socializing with other children? Because I was like that. I was very calm. I was very quiet. I was very reserved. I was very weary of people. I didn't, have many friends growing up because it was just an immediate trust issue right off the bat. And that came from having, a very, very stern, militant father, and then having a mother that was also very distant as well. So I didn't receive that warmth and love and reception that many kids do growing up. So there was that initial trust issue. So that was the start of it. And my mother initially led the charge on this and started, I remember from, like I said, the age of 5 on, going to all these special institutions all up and down the Northeast coast here in the United States, and seeing all different types of specialists of all different kinds, where they put you in a room that's surrounded by glass, and all the light is coming in, and they sit you down at a table and they start running all these tests on you, like put these blocks together and see if you can form, the shapes or whatever. They put these tests on you to try and test your intelligence. But what they're really doing is they're coming up with a diagnosis. And then when you walk out of there, they give you a label. They tell you what you are, essentially. Your name is stripped of you. You're now, you're depressed, or you have a learning disability, you're bipolar, you're this, you're that. And they essentially write out a prescription and they give you a drug. And that's how it all starts. And then it just progresses from there. It just progresses.
All satanic, right?
Yeah.
All of that is satanic. And I've learned this over the years. And when you were saying that, I had a real memory then of being in a room with the blocks. That's a block memory for me. I've just realized there's a block memory. And there was it was about 12 years ago. There was a game for kids online, and it was like these little penguins, and they had to go and collect stuff, and I can't remember what it was called. But my son, my eldest son, was about 5, and he wanted to play it. He wanted me to buy it, and I looked at it. I was like, no. This is. They're just evaluating you.
Yeah.
They're evaluating you, and I could see through all of it, right? Because I got evaluated a lot in the military, and I've sat in the rooms with the things in my head and the wires coming out, and I've been prodded and poked more times than soft Mick. So yeah, there's a lot of triggers there for me. But so you get. What age were you when they first put you on prescription drugs?
5.
What?
5.
Wow.
Yeah, 5. Yeah. And it progressed from there, Mark, because what happens is as you age and as you grow and as your body changes, the drugs change because, your body outgrows these things, or rather your development outgrows these things. So they switch to something else. I distinctly remember going through at least 14 different types of medication before it was all said and done. It went from, the basic stuff to eventually to Zoloft and Prozac, and then, lithium and Wellbutrin. And I mean, they put everything they could into you to try and, it's not to correct a problem, it's to suppress, because that's what this stuff does. It's a veil, essentially. It's a toxic veil.
Well, I remember I never had drugs as a kid, but I do remember 25 years ago reading a book called Prozac Nation.
Mm-hmm.
You ever heard of that?
Yeah.
Which was about America. And I remember reading it going, my God, it was just shocking to me how many people were addicted. Well, the addiction comes from being prescribed as a kid, presumably.
Yes. Yeah, you become addicted to that reality, essentially, especially with everyone telling you that you're sick, you're diseased. And again, that label they give you, they do it in such a way that it creates a mental block in your mind, and it sticks. It sticks, and you believe it, essentially.
And this is why the plan is so brilliant. And the plan is to wake people up by getting them to start thinking for themselves first.
Yeah.
And then to start connecting with themselves and connecting to God. And then that will wake up enough people to then help wake the rest up, or help the rest survive when they go through this change. That's the way I see it.
Yep, exactly.
So we should be grateful that you managed to survive that, because that's tough. That's a tough.
Yeah, well, I had an angel along the way who was around the age of 25, who was a holistic psychiatrist, and from India, and she was very, very young and a starseed herself. And she took one look at me and said, I want to see every piece of information, every test they ever did on you, because I'm telling you right now, they're full of shit, and I'm going to correct this problem.
Wow.
So I did my due diligence and did my homework and got all the information to her. And she took about a week to read it over. And then she got back to me and she says, how would you like to be taken off of these drugs? She goes, not, at the snap of a finger, we're going to do this holistically. We're going to do this right, because your body's going to go through some, levels of shock. So it'll take, a few months to do this. But how would you like to be off this drug? And initially I was actually hesitant, because again, being addicted to that reality, that was a scary prospect. The biggest fear in my mind, or the illusion of fear in my mind, was, oh my God, how will I be without this stuff? That was scary, because that's all you know. That's all you know. So I reluctantly but forcefully said, yeah, let's do this. So she gradually started, cutting down the dosages by 50 milligrams, cutting it down. And every 2 days, I was instructed to do a detox with aloe vera, burdock root, and dandelion, which would help, start flushing the system out, especially with my liver. Those drugs do massive damage to your liver over long periods of time. So it's very, very important to get the liver back up and running again the way it needs to be. So, and, ate incredibly healthy for those 2 or 3 months as well. Plenty of water. She monitored me. She called me every single day, asked me how I was doing, made sure I was okay. Really, really stayed on top of it. And within 2 to 3 months, I was clean, I was clear. And I distinctly remember, walking out of her office, and she put her hand on my shoulder and she said, "Greg, you are now free." She says, "Go and live. And remember everything I told you. Remember the herbs that I told you to, begin with your protocol." Because the problem with these, drugs is that they actually end up giving you some of the issues that they're trying to treat you for. That's the sick, sadistic aspect of these drugs, is that they're essentially a reverse band-aid. They're put into your system to band-aid an issue, and essentially they'll give you that issue.
Sounds a bit like vaccines to me.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly what it is. It's a vaccine in a form of a pill.
I mean, how do they pull that off? Right. I say the way to not get this thing is that we're going to inject you with this thing. I mean, it's never made any sense to me whatsoever.
No, it's ludicrous. And what happens to most people after they get the flu shot? They get the flu.
No shit.
Yeah. So it doesn't stop anything. Most people, and if you look at the numbers of the, COVID pandemic, most of the people that have passed away supposedly from this thing all had the flu shot. They've all been heavily vaccinated and heavily intoxicated, and eat McDonald's every day. Don't take care of themselves.
I lost my grandfather during this first lockdown, and I know that he was vaccinated, and it's heartbreaking. But the only blessing is that he was 91, and I think he'd had enough anyway. But I can see a nursing home from here, and one of my friend's mothers died there 2 weeks ago, and she rang me and said she wanted me to help her put up a sign outside it saying, "You murdered my mum," because they did. They it's just extraordinary that this pharmaceutical industry, people have no real idea at all how much damage the pharmaceutical industry has done. They don't look into it. They trust it. They trust the men in the white coats. It's extraordinary. And one of the things that I think, there's a few things that are going to come out of this. One is that, I got an email from somebody today saying they worked at a hospital, and the hospital. No, I had a call with somebody today, and they said that their girlfriend works in a hospital, and the hospital's been empty all year. And and this is how they know that. And people are getting paid a huge amount of money when somebody gets a shot or somebody dies. They're getting paid for this to happen, so it's incentivized. So when we're through this, we're going to have a huge amount of suicides, I think, in the healthcare services, or trauma, massive trauma. We've got to reshape the whole thing and go back to herbs and go back to nature 100%, which is just common sense. But I find it amazing. I can sit and talk to you and we just go, yeah, that makes sense. But it's amazing how many people don't. They just still don't see it.
No, they're scared of it, Mark. And there's been and the cabal have done their very due diligence to put people under the impression that herbalism and natural medicine or alternative medicines are essentially witchcraft and voodoo and don't work. And they've made us addicted to this lifestyle of spontaneity, instantly, like instantly, it's got to happen. I got to have a instant fix. So the only way to do that is drugs, toxicity and poisons. With herbal medicine, it's all about, building those bridges and filling those gaps and allowing the eternal magnetism to flow within us the way it's supposed to. Herbs teach our body to do what they are normally supposed to do, what they're designed to do naturally. So a lot of times with herbal medicine, it's not an instant fix. It's going to take time. And humanity, unfortunately, doesn't have much patience for that. Especially for those who are, truly suffering with, massive, health issues. You tell them it's going to take time and they lose their minds. They want it now. And the other thing that they threw out of the window is essentially it's all based on what we eat. You know, we are what we eat. If you're
Disappeared. The sound went.
oh,
It's good.
okay. Yeah. So I mean, if and we live in this, you know, fast food toxic society where, you know, and you know, there's frozen food, everything is processed, everything is loaded with, you know, salt and soy and every filler you can possibly imagine, GMOs, you know, they've done their very best to essentially sicken us.
You
So
know, my childhood, I was very blessed that we had quite a big garden out the back of the house, and every garden in the street was full of vegetables. And when it came to lunchtime, dinner time, it would start with my mum telling me to go and pick the peas and go and pick the potatoes and just go and pick them out of the garden straight into the plate.
yeah,
I think that's the reason why I'm still here, because you know, in my 20s and 30s, I got very heavily into alcohol and other things, and you know, got nearly had a heart attack a couple of times. You know, crashed the plane nearly a couple of times. I mean, I can't believe I'm still here sometimes. But the last 10 years for me has been very much getting deeply interested in herbs and plant medicine, and you know, all because everything's here, everything's right in front of us. It's totally abundant. You know,
yeah,
one of the things I really enjoyed about the lockdown is we built some vegetable patches, and just these incredible plants just come out and they just keep giving every day, and you just go and take them with gratitude and then use them. Just incredible raw kale salad straight out of the garden with some avocado and lemon. I mean, it's just amazing stuff. And me and my son don't really want to eat anything else. Occasionally we do, but you know, it's
yeah,
just, and you just feel great. I mean, I've said a few times on here that, you know, people have said, "What do I do? What do I do?" I said, "Well, go and get us some celery and juice it."
yeah,
Because when I have a celery juice, I literally feel high as a kite for about an hour.
yeah,
It really affects me. Even carrot juices and stuff like that.
yeah.
And it's simple stuff. But yeah, we're you know, what you described about being under a veil as well, with the drugs and how you came through it. It's a wonderful metaphor for what's going on a grand scale, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, we have
Yeah.
a intoxicated, medicated race of brothers and sisters that literally don't even know they're in this situation.
No.
They have no
No.
idea.
No, they have no clue. They're stuck in their 9 to 5, you know, proverbial hamster wheel, and they come home and they watch their TV shows and they watch the mainstream media, and are essentially under, you know, the spell of illusion and falsehoods. So that they have no idea, and they literally believe what they're told to believe. They're told to believe that Donald Trump is orange man, bad man, and that he's evil, and that he's satanic, and that he's a racist, and he's this and he's that, and that he's a sore loser, and he's being a baby, and he's, you know, hanging on with bloody fingernails, and they just don't. And Biden is a good man. He's just a nice old fart. You know, he
How
doesn't mean any harm to anybody. You know,
really?
and Kamala is just a beautiful black woman, you know, like come on.
Something like that. I'm gonna tell, there was a story where during the middle of the summer I went into this place to get a sandwich, and the woman behind the counter, and I just tried, you know, chit chat, friendly chit chat, and said, you know, this will soon be over, and she goes, yeah, it will soon be over, and you know, at least we're all safe, but I hope that Donald Trump gets it.
Yeah.
I just went, okay, thanks for the sandwich. I'm like, she's actually wishing death on Donald Trump, and I want to say to them, I try to say to everybody that I meet, is if it wasn't for Donald Trump, you'd be dead.
Yeah.
You would be dead, but by now we'd be done.
Yeah.
We'd be gone. We'd be over. The human
Yeah.
race would be over. And my kids especially, because they have huge peer pressure on them to believe this stuff. And one of my daughters has a friend who hates me because she knows that I like Donald Trump, right? And she came around
Mhm.
and was extremely rude to me, and I just let it go. And my daughter said, "Yeah, because you like Donald Trump. She hates you. She thinks you're the scum of the earth." Even one of my best friends, 30 years, best friend, I sent him my last poem, and he texted me a message saying, "Please do not send these to me anymore. I find them disturbing. You're going down a very dark path. We're on different paths right now." And he's going towards the light, and I'm going towards the dark. And I'm like, it's the other way around, mate.
Yeah.
But what can I say? What can you do?
Yeah. Yeah, I've lost my family essentially over this too. I mean, I lost them years ago essentially because of who I am and being the white sheep of the family, and just being very very different from all the rest of them that always caused conflict, and being the rebellious spirit that I am as well, that always caused conflict. But when they found out my unwavering support of this amazing and divine man, yeah, that was it. That was it. In fact, I have a 68-year-old uncle who will literally, underneath the dinner table, will literally kick me in the leg underneath the dinner table like a child, and will literally look at me and say, "You still like that guy? You still like that guy? You still support Trump? Huh? 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 You still like him? You still like him?" Like a little kid. A 68-year-old, well established, financially well off, supposedly very astute businessman is kicking me underneath the table like a 5-year-old child, asking me, "Do you still like this guy? Do you still like this guy? Huh? 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 Huh?" I mean, it's just utterly ridiculous what you truly see the depths and depravity of this programming, and how far it goes, and what it does to people. It literally will turn people childish.
Well, I have come to the conclusion, I don't know if you agree with this, that is demonic entity possession. And that's what it is. And or attachment, maybe is a better word. And I'm seeing a lot of that this week, actually. I've just been on the phone to a few friends doing similar stuff to us, who are being attacked mercilessly. I got my first major troll yesterday. I had to turn comments off my video. And I'm like, but I've had 50 years of them. So I'm like, well, in this incarnation. And I'm like, I don't care. But they go for the jugular, they go for the weak point, and they work through people. Like you described that wonderful person who helped save you as an angel, because angels work through people.
Mm-hmm.
Angels are working through you, through me sometimes, especially when I'm writing. And demons work through people, and that's what that is. And they're very childlike, and they're like that little doll, that little horrible Chucky doll. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, because it's the childish stuff that gets your jugular. It gets you angry. It gets you riled up.
Yeah.
They know how to poke and prod you.
Literally, in your case.
Yeah, literally, yeah. And I have to do my very damnedest, to keep my light and keep my energy with something like that, because you literally want to reach across the table and choke somebody when they're doing something foolish like that. Family member or not. You literally want to strangle them with the truth, essentially, at that point.
Well, this makes me think of Donald Trump when I'm just watching him in amongst them, right? Amongst the demons. Once you see that, and you see him standing up in front of G7 and in front of the Queen and in front of the Pope and everything, and he knows exactly what they are, and there he is, just proud, extraordinary when you see it from that perspective.
Yeah.
To the mainstream media, which says, "Oh, he was so rude and so stupid."
Yeah. No, he stands tall and mighty amongst all these demons. I mean, that is the whole, that's why I truly believe that he is a reincarnation of many things, but he's also a reincarnation of Cyrus, strength upon his fist and wisdom upon his brow. And if you read Isaiah chapter 45, it'll ding, that's Trump.
Well, I put a line in one of my poems about King Cyrus rose to face the fiends of Babel once again, and that was a direct reference to Donald Trump. And well, that was interesting what Jason was saying last night about the different types of Q beings, Q5 and everything else. That I'd not heard that description before, but they're doing something just so inspiring that it makes me get out of bed in the morning. And I remember it wasn't very long ago when I really didn't want to get out of bed in the morning, and I was really depressed, and I got that. When you were describing people going on the hamster wheel, what came into my mind straight away was Groundhog Day, and I remember maybe 2 or 3 years ago, but it was like I just suddenly seemed to be in the shower. Okay, I'm in the shower again. And then the day would, and so next minute I'm in the shower again. And it was like Groundhog Day, but it was like being in hell. It was just like this repeating thing. And I know that I was being shown that on purpose. So this is not the way. And I knew, screaming, every piece of me was screaming, this is not the way we're supposed to live. And, I went through my own stuff then and I sometimes wonder how I'm still here, but here I am. And anybody watching this who's suffering right now, it is a case of taking steps towards the light, because you can see the light, it's there, you can't necessarily focus on it, but so you just got to kind of head towards it. And if you do keep heading towards it every single day is a conscious decision. It's a conscious decision what you have for breakfast. It's a conscious decision to alkalize yourself before you go to bed. It's a conscious decision, but most people are doing things completely unconsciously, even down to the toothpaste. I've been telling people to stop using toothpaste for years, and they still look at me like I'm nuts, because it's so ingrained in them that fluoride's good for their teeth that they daren't use anything else.
Yeah.
And it's been very frustrating. And I nearly started a YouTube channel about a year ago, and I did do a practice podcast with a couple of friends, but I just ranted. I was ranting and ranting and ranting, and I listened to it back, and I was like, I don't think this is right. I don't think people want to be ranted at. I think what they really need is light and fun and knowledge and laughter and music and all of that kind of good stuff that has been taken away from us this year. There was I'm sorry, I'm rambling here, but
but no, you're absolutely right. But also keep in mind that part of rising to the light is being able to dig deep into the mud and to bring up what has been hidden. So it's always good to be aware of that. And as well, it's not all ponies and rainbows. I mean, the stuff that's coming down the pike here is good. It's just earth-shattering, mind-blowing stuff, and it's going to trouble the hearts of many people across this planet, across this earth plane. It's just as simple as that, as deep and dark as it goes, when we finally do learn the whole truth and nothing but. So it's important to dig into the dark stuff so that people are aware, because in order to rise, you have to have that dark night of the soul, and you have to have those moments of questioning, even yourself and why you're here and what your role is and what you have to play.
It's gone quiet again.
And
we're back again.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and I've always told people to always be very wary of those, fake light workers, or the people that claim they work for the light, where it's all holly jolly and a good time, and they're not, necessarily. They're not, because that's a trap as well. This whole new ageism that's out there now of all love and light, and just deny anything negative, and yeah,
I've had that argument for so long. It never resonated with me, and I'd go on all sorts of ceremonies and weekends and things, and then I'd be on Facebook going, right, we need to understand there's a massive paedophile ring here, and this goes this, and I'd be like, stop being all dark and negative, Mark, because it's all an inside job. And I'm like, yeah, but it is an inside job, but we also need to know what the problem is. You don't know what the problem is, how can you solve it? I just never understood that stuff. But what's your perspective, Greg, on, you've described, I mean, I've got an idea, and I know lots of other people have ideas, but I'd like to hear your version of exactly, as clearly as you can explain it, what you think is going to happen in the coming months and years.
Well, we're days away now from essentially the God's crock pot being, pushed over and being able to be consumed for the masses. I truly see this all unraveling very, very fast. It's going to be something that's going to change overnight. We're going to have the age of Aquarius. We're going to have the wonderful conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter. And it's going to send immense amount of light codes and energies down to everyone here on Earth. As to how that will work through every single individual, I can't speak to that. That depends on the individual and how they end up receiving that. Going forward, I see, some trial and tribulation coming through to March. Because again, these demons are going to kick and scream on their way out the door. They're not gonna, they're not gonna go quietly. They're going to pull every last trick in the book before, God closes the curtains on it for good. He's going to let us see the shit show one last time before the curtains come down on it for good. So I see it, I see a little, tribulation here and there between now and March. But I do see, and I know, and me and you both agree on this, Trump will be in control. Things will start, rolling out. As to the exact timing of Nasara, that is still, very much up in the air. I'm going to leave that one to God and to Trump himself when the best time is for that. I do know that it will be soon. But, again, we're going to be going through a little tribulation first. And just clearing out the rest of those dark energies that are still here.
Once that's a couple of questions on what you've said so far. Firstly, within days, you said, and we're talking there about the 21st, right?
Yeah.
And the long prophesized solar flash, whatever you want to call it. Now, I've got a few questions about that because a lot of people are wondering what to do when that happens, and is it a specific time? How should they prepare? One thing I've been saying to people is avoid mass meditations because I'm not. It depends who's running them, but I'm not a big. I think it's really about you personally. But what do you think it is? What are you going to be doing on that day?
No, I'm just going to be working on myself. Essentially, I'm just going to. I've often asked that question to myself a lot, and have come to the conclusion and have been guided to simply do what I have been doing. There really isn't any adjustments or changes that need to be made. It's just, continue to do the inner work. If there's any shadow work that needs to be done, get it done. Continue with, everything that you've been doing. Mass meditation, I'm not really all for that. I am more about just going in stillness and silence with myself and being connected to God with thyself instead of having this moderator telling me how to do it rather. So for me and for your audience, I just feel that I want to stress this, that it is absolutely paramount to work on yourself and to observe, not absorb, to detach from all that is going on out there, especially if it's causing you anxiety or stress, because we all know anxiety and stress lowers the vibration. Okay, so you can observe it, but don't absorb it, and continue to go within. Drink plenty of water during this time. That's essential. Plenty of water. Eat plenty of fruits and plenty of vegetables with your diet. Eat less dense foods as possible. And just meditate by yourself. Just sit in stillness and silence by yourself. And don't fear. There's not going to be this massive, beam that's going to come down and destroy the earth and save some people and take some others up. There's a lot of fear porn going on there out there right now. So just beware of that and just learn to, discern for yourself. Go within, do the inner work, and be careful who you follow during this time.
I'd agree with that, and it all makes sense to me. I'll probably go for a walk in the woods and do a bit of grounding and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, this one that's feeding again. Look, this
beautiful cat.
Look, do you know how this cat is in my life? I mean, I was never a cat man. I never thought I was anyway. And then I had a dream about a black cat one night. It was really powerful. Then the next night I was driving home and this black cat flitted in front of the car. And I was like, that's weird. I had a dream about a black cat last night.
Huh.
And then the next night she was at the bedroom window.
Oh,
And then it's not left me since. Yeah, so when you talk about the bit after that, we've got Christmas and then March, and how that's going to play out in 3D remains to be seen. But there's I've been getting the number 322 all really intensely. It's like I've been getting numbers for years, but it's been 322 in the last few. And I read that as 22nd of March. And there's this. The other thing that interests me is the Q talking about things being taken right to the brink, to the point of like we're going to see some things that are going to make us think, oh my God, it's not possible, and then suddenly it is. I think that's what's going to happen. That's my feeling.
That's my feelings as well.
Yeah, so when it looks really, it's like yesterday with the Betfair thing that happened with the Trump bets. It's like everybody was like, oh my God. It's like, that's nothing. We're going to see things possibly get to an actual visible war situation with, armies shooting people and stuff like that. And that's going to be, because, a lot of people don't realize how close we came or have come to complete takeover. There's people, Chinese ships off the coast of Ireland, underground bases with Chinese troops. When I say Chinese, I mean CCP troops underneath. 50,000 troops allegedly killed the other day in America, in Maine, I think it was, with who were hiding underground. There's like takeover from the inside. Last throw of the dice from the cabal to get us all rounded up into concentration camps and killed with the vaccines. People really don't realize how close we came to total destruction. And so the way that it's been done is so beautiful and brilliant. And then there is going to be I feel very strongly that after March in the spring, it's going to be like a real rebirth of everything.
Yeah, well, we're in the fall of man right now, essentially. We're going into the darkest depths of our depravity right now, and the Q team is allowing a lot of things to go on right now so that we can be shown, because they can't tell us. You have to be shown these things, so they're going to allow a lot of these things to play out to the brink, to wake up as many people as possible, and to show us just how close we came to absolute annihilation. You're absolutely right. We were this close, and if Donald Trump and God didn't intervene, that would have been the end of us, essentially. So they're allowing this to play out, especially in other countries like Africa, Australia, and Canada, so that you can be shown just how close you were to absolute destruction, so that when this all does pass, the absolute gratitude will just be overflowing for your life, essentially, for your children's lives, for your family's lives. So, but once we get past all that, once we get past March and into the spring, we're coming back into the rise of man, and the rise, not humanity, but of mankind, as Charlie Freak so eloquently puts it. And we can start eventually getting back to that, getting back to being purposeful, getting back to being kind and gentle and loving and compassionate to one another. I'm not saying we're all going to be on the same page at that point in time. There's going to need to be a lot of healing. It's going to be essentially it's going to be a rising in the spring for those that choose it, but there will still be many others who will need our help and need our attention and need our compassion moving forward. But again, past March, there's going to be, everything is going to start being rolled out, and there's going to be programs and things and technologies and things being released to kind of balance out all the negativity and all the cold hard truths that are coming down the line for people. So I see it being very well balanced, but I also seeing a lot of people that are going to need our help. We're going to need to catch a lot of people when they fall. Yeah,
I feel that very strongly. Have you got the ways people that can engage with you? Where have you written stuff on herbs? Have you?
Yeah, I actually have a degree in medicinal cannabis and herbalism. So I do have a website with my fiance called nature11.com. And my fiance does, she makes her own jewelry and does her own artwork that is based on nature and based on connection to Mother Gaia. Um, so we do some write-ups and things on herbs and stuff like that there. I try and share it as much as I can on my page. But unfortunately the intel and the spirituality kind of take over that.
Yeah, it's kind of like,
Most of the
where to
time.
divide your time. I'm finding that at the
Yeah.
moment. It's like I have to
Yeah.
carve my day up into this, which I love, and then
Yeah.
the things which are harder and other things that are
Yeah.
necessary. I've got the kids, I've got a
Yeah.
business, I've got blah blah blah. I'm gonna send you one of these because I think you'd love this. This is our homemade CBD balms.
Oh, nice.
All,
Yes.
all Irish flax oil, Irish CBD, and Irish
Mm,
beeswax, and it's so
very
good.
nice.
It's really good. That's
Yeah.
27%. That one. I'll get
Nice.
you a them. Probably won't get there till New Year, but it'd be great if
That's
you.
okay. Yeah. It's okay. Yeah. I mean, I would love to do, because right now with the knowledge and gnosis that me and my fiance both have, we can, and with the laws here in the States until everything, officially changes and we actually make that journey back to, Mother Gaia and medicine of the mother. I really can only be on a consulting basis.
Yeah.
I to set up your own practice here in New Jersey with big pharma, looming over your shoulder and all the legalities you have to jump through. By the time you set up, you're flat broke because
Yeah.
that's what they do. They make it incredibly difficult for you to do that. So what I'm doing now is just being on a consulting basis, and learning also certain tricks of the trade from my herbalist, my personal herbalist that I have, learning to listen to people, to receive their energy, being an empath. I can willingly do that and listen for keywords and things like that they're telling me about their issues, because 9 times out of 10 it's all mental anyways. They don't have anything, it's all up in here. So the best thing that I can do right now is be on a consulting basis and to describe each and every herb, to people in a way that makes it easier for them to understand and
Have you
makes
done
it.
that? Have you done that on video before?
No, but I would definitely like to do that. Either put together a Zoom call with a bunch of people, or when I get my YouTube channel up and running, just simply do just a straight herbal
Yeah.
doctrine, essentially. Um, Especially, moving into the time that we're moving into, I truly feel that cannabis, adaptogens, and nervines are going to be at the forefront of all this. People are going to need that desperately,
Yeah. Yeah.
because we're going to need to calm some people down.
Yeah.
Essentially, their
Thank God
endocrine system.
thank God it grows like a weed because we can do it.
Yeah.
We can do it quickly. It's not like
Yes.
the 7-year vaccine trials.
Yeah. Yeah.
Grow it. It's there.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I think that there's a great need for that, Greg. You got to do it.
yeah, no, definitely have to do it, because there's a lot of people out there that have even messaged me that are asking about dosages and what type to take, and I'm in pain, and a lot of times, pain can be simply remedied by simple things like meditation, or a lot of people message me who have head pain, constant, headaches and whatnot. And I tell them, have you ever heard of feverfew? And they go, no, what's that? And I said, well, that's an herb that's very similar to cannabis in a way that you have to take it over time. But after taking it over time, it allows your body to actually adjust to the pain. So when there is pain, it's either more tolerable or it helps get rid of it altogether. It's a wonderful herb, especially for sinus pressure, for sinus pain, or for constant migraines, or for any type of pain throughout your body. It teaches your body to adjust so that when there is pain, you're not as susceptible or you don't feel it at all. And the long-term effects of feverfew are phenomenal, and it acts as a great stimulant for other herbs as well. So
I need to look that one up. I'm lucky I don't suffer from much pain, but I've always been fascinated by that sort of thing. Just before the lockdown, I actually went on a Wim Hof weekend. You heard of Wim Hof, the Iceman?
oh yeah.
Yeah, he's incredible. You know, and the whole thing was about learning how to sit in a bath of ice and be fine.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
so we have control over our Negus verb.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Negus. What's the word? Nerve. Vagus nerve. I'm getting malapropism, so I can't speak today. And it's incredible what you can do. You know, if you just spend a bit of time. And the problem is, we've not had. It's like the hamster wheel. There is no time.
Yeah.
That's how it works. You know.
Yeah.
You don't have time to contemplate anything or connect with nature. Most people don't have the time to do it, and then they think. And once you're so disconnected from it, it's like you said, you get addicted to that cycle. You know, the sugar and the salt and the constant TV, and you know, it's. I do hope the days of darkness is actual darkness, because it would be amazing for this planet to have no electricity for 3 days, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, they've tested it already. You saw Google and YouTube went down the other day, and Google is still having massive issues. So, however, the 10 days of darkness will look, I think, is beyond us at this point. I think many of us have, even Charlie Freak has, done his very damnedest to try and paint the best picture possible of what it will look like. But I think at this point, it's a necessary moment in our now time, and however it looks, I feel we just have to accept it for what it is. However the darkness looks, I know Jason Q mentioned yesterday that we're in it between the 14th and the 24th, and that resonates with me. Mm-hmm. It could simply mean darkness for those that are still in darkness.
It was like Watch the Water. It could be a million things.
Yeah.
There was also that misspelling of it on Q as well. Was it DAKR or DARNKNES?
Darkness, yeah.
I remember looking at that a year or so ago, and I can't remember what conclusion I came to. But I think all of these things are going to make sense in retrospect, like most stuff in life does. And in the meantime, it's just about being centered and grounded and doing the work, like you say. So,
yeah, you have to go within and have to do the work. It's just so important, especially right now. People have to find out who they truly are and what they're here for. You're not here to work a 9-to-5 job. Sorry, hate to tell you, but you're not. Some of us still do, because it's what's in the now moment, and we're slowly crossing that bridge to the next moment, and that's okay. If that's what resonates at this point in time, that's fine. You're not wrong for working a 9-to-5 job, whatever your current situation now is in this 3D paradigm. It's fine. It doesn't mean you can't resonate higher. It doesn't mean you can't ascend. It just simply means that is just understand the fact that is not your future, and know the fact that is not your future, and that you're here and born for greater things.
Well, that's the perfect line to end that on. Really great speaking to you. And
absolutely.
Send me the links to those that website and stuff. I'll put
it
in the description. Anybody watching this, go, and if you want to connect with Greg, I'll put the links in the video in the description, and make sure you're on my email list, because if things do go down, I can always keep in touch with you. Thank you very much, Greg, and we'll do this again when we've maybe got through the other side of this 21st.
Yeah, absolutely. Look forward to it, Mark. Thank you for having me, brother. Appreciate it.
Thank you.